Welcome in, friends. We are live in New Waverly, Texas. And before we go live tonight or with the game here in New Waverly, I wanted to take a brief moment and acknowledge a dear friend of the SHN family that we lost. I received a phone call last night at 10:30 from our colleagues throughout the SHN Sports Network. And I know folks here in New Waverly didn't know this man, but he meant a lot to me. He was one that I considered in my inner circle, someone that I could call on in times of need, someone that I could call on in times of joy. Most importantly, a man that loved the Lord unconditionally and always spoke about how blessed he was. I wanted to take a moment and honor my good friend and a friend of SHN that was with us almost since we started over 12, 13, 15 years ago as the world, and it just made a tremendous impact. And today we all grieve the loss of our good friend Michael Francis. Michael was the voice of Roush Raider baseball in the Central Texas area. He helped me my first journey in college broadcasting with Southwestern in Division III. And, again, just going to tremendously miss him. He lost his beautiful wife, Norma, to cancer nearly 2 years ago. But through it all, he said, the Lord has richly blessed me. And so, Michael, tonight we honor you, and we are thankful for a man who we will all miss so much. We'll take a moment of silence here on SHN for the next 30 seconds as we honor our friend and loved one, Michael Francis. Well, welcome, friends, as we are here live tonight in New Waverly, Texas. I'm Rob Pipp, and we are set for first pitch here before too long. A beautiful night for baseball after the rain has moved out. It was stormy earlier, but it looks like that rain has finally decided to even out before things got a little bit out of hand. We were watching it on the radar, but we are set for baseball here tonight. In just a few moments, we will have our starting lineups, and our friend Larry is up here. We'll also have our national anthem here in just a few moments. We'll turn it over now to the PA, and we'll be back in a moment here on SHN, New Waverly Baseball, Onalaska, here tonight.
For the flying of the national anthem.
Beautiful playing of our national anthem as we are moments away from first pitch here tonight in New Waverly, Texas. And we are up in the booth tonight. We're not up here often. We're up here tonight in the threat of rain. And it looks like that rain, as I said a few moments ago, is starting to move out. And the sun is actually out here at New Waverly Baseball Field. Again, we do want to welcome you in. Let us know that you're out there. We'd love to hear from you tonight. Our fan text line is open as always at 512-522-9105. Again, that number is 512-522-9105. Starting tonight at the top of these innings, it'll be Onalaska, the Wildcats. They'll go 1, 2, and 3. The designated hitter, Wyatt Rez, followed by second baseman Colin Van, and then the left fielder, Ty Phillips, on the bump tonight for your New Waverly Bulldogs. Jace Card, after taking one to the nose, it was a phenomenal play where he was trying to make a play at Onalaska just a few nights ago and dove and dinged up his nose pretty bad. He was down for a while, was able to get up. I mentioned several times, just a battle-tested warrior for this team. So Jace Card is getting that start tonight on the bump for New Waverly. I didn't have a chance to get all my charts done as quickly as I would have liked, so it'll take a little bit to get that defense set up for you. And I will try to do my best to let you know. Action Jackson Hathorn will be over at first base, as he always is. Of course, Max Tomzak is behind the plate. We always see Max. Had a chance, by the way, to catch up with Max's dad a while ago. And just some great folks here in New Waverly, so always good to chat with them. Over at second base, it's Camden Allred. So Camden remains over at second to start this game here tonight. Third base, Peyton Rayleigh. Rayleigh over at third base. And your shortstop tonight for New Waverly is Colin Conover. So Colin Conover at short, again setting up your defense here tonight, as New Waverly will pitch first. And then over at left field, it's number 1, Daniel Nixon. So Daniel Nixon at left. At center field for New Waverly, number 6, Otto Wineland. And over at right field tonight is number 3, Ryson Nunez. So that is how your defense is set up tonight here for New Waverly. Those warm-up pitches wrapping up, and Wyatt Rez, the designated hitter, stepping up here for Onalaska. Onalaska in their black jerseys tonight, white numbers. New Waverly in their home whites and white pants, as you can see here on your video screen. So again, just about to get started. Had a chance to catch up with the umpires tonight. Clint, they are out of Beaumont. First pitch will be here in just a few moments. They'll continue to toss it around, but had a great conversation with Clint and his colleague. Again, they're out of Tasso from Beaumont tonight. They'll be the umpires in this game. And we appreciate all their hard work. These guys on a Friday night, they don't get paid. They don't do it for the money, that's for sure. They do it for the love of the game. Clint is actually over at first base, and so that's where he will be tonight. New Waverly looking to rebound after a tough loss on Tuesday versus the same Onalaska Wildcats. Onalaska comes in at 5-1, 12-11 overall. New Waverly 5-1, 10-13. That first loss on Tuesday in district play was at the hands of Onalaska, and a tough one again for New Waverly. That one ended early, 10-0, back on April the 7th. Onalaska before that, they beat Trinity twice, and then also Crockett twice, 22-1, 17-1. New Waverly lost Onalaska, as I just said, their first district loss of the season. Coming in, they beat Cold Spring 8-4, 9-1, Crockett 16-1, 18-0, and then Trinity 22-0. New Waverly is hot until they ran into Onalaska, but I'm expecting a rebound here tonight. There was just something Tuesday night in the air. It was just one of those weird games from the get-go. And really after Jace Card kind of went down after that injury, and again, it's good to see him back on the bump tonight, but after he went down, it's kind of like that game, just unsettling, and really lost the rhythm there. Your core group here for New Waverly is Colin Conover, Jace Card, who's out there. And this is a team, if they can get started early, they get hot. They've had multiple 15-run games, but you were going up, and not to downplay the kids from Trinity or Crockett, but you're going up against some schools that have just struggled. And this is a team that is very capable of pitching when they get locked in. That's why Jace is out there tonight. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know you're out there on this beautiful afternoon, Friday edition of New Waverly Baseball here on SHN. They're still out there working on the field a little bit. They've been throwing dirt on it. One thing that I was talking to the umpires about earlier, we were blessed here to have Coach Compton and the staff and all these guys. I mean, you look out here at this field, it's a beautiful grass field, the dirt. So many fields nowadays are the turf and the artificial, but when you get out here, it's just a beautiful field, especially from our vantage point tonight. I appreciate Larry sharing the booth with us here tonight. But it is just beautiful up here. As you look out, the sun's starting to set behind the piney wood trees. The scoreboard's out there at left field. And there's not a whole lot of ballparks once you get outside of this area that have this majestic beauty. The only thing close that I've always enjoyed besides being out here is at Bomber Stadium in Bryan. And the reason I like that area is you have the beautiful Union Pacific Railroad that goes right behind the stadium. And I always enjoy seeing that big Union Pacific engine as it goes by with the American flag painted on the side.
Here we go, Jace. Time to throw strikes.
And although we don't see it here, we do have a train out here across the highway, and you'll hear it from time to time as well. Well, here we are about to get started tonight. Again, let us know you're out there. We'd love to hear from you. 512-522-9105. That is the number to text in tonight as we get started here. And district play continues on. Here's the first pitch. And across the plate, the early one here just to the outside as it came over. And the early count 1-0 on Wyatt Rez. Card, a right-handed pitcher. Here's the next delivery. Low to the outside and a quick 2-0 count here. Just trying to go through and find my sheets from Tuesday. Here's the third pitch. That one right there on the corner. Caught it for a strike. The count 1-2. Jace Card dealing them here to Wyatt Rez. Rez stepped out for just a moment. Tap of the bat, and he's back in. Next one to the outside. Rez well ahead here, 3-1. The sunshine to the right cheek. Here's the pitch. Dropped into the corner to bring us to a full count right away here on Wyatt Rez. Wyatt only won for one last Tuesday. He was hit by a pitch, reached on a walk a couple of times. Here's one swung on late, bounce over to third to Rayleigh, gets away from him. Would have been a hard one there, and at this level, we'll just give him a hit. I don't want to credit Rayleigh with the error, and so leadoff single for Wyatt Rez.
It's all right, Peyton. Talk to him. It's all right. You're all right.
113, 113.
Bring up Colin Van, the second baseman, second in the order. Beg your pardon, second in the order here. He is the second baseman for Onalaska. Here's the pitch as the runner will take off, trying to steal over to second. The throw to second. Got it. How about that? All right. Tomahawk Tom Zach throwing it over to Allred and able to get the tag and the out over at second on the stolen base attempt. We are one away, and that'll clear the base paths.
All right, we're back here. Let's go, boys.
I know Max was looking for some of those on Tuesday, and that's going to get him rolling here. Here's the hit over to second. This one will ground to Allred, the throw to first, and a routine play for the second out on Colin Van. And just like that, we're two away.
By Camden Allred at second base for out number 2. Brings up number 14, the left fielder, Ty Phillips.
Ty Phillips now batting here for Onalaska. Another right-handed batter. Ty went 1 for 4 on Tuesday night. First one just out of his reach for a ball. It's 1-0. Again, appreciate everybody hanging out with us here on a Friday night. Here's the next pitch. Little shave pitch right there near the chin line. It's 2-0 the count. Card set to deliver. Here's the pitch. Pulled back across the plate, called strike 2-1. Here's the next pitch. This one swung over to third. Rayleigh, the throw to first in time. Redemption, and there you go. So a nice job for New Waverly as they get the out on the stolen by Rez. A grounder to second on Van, and then the grounder to the third by Phillips. We are through half an inning. Scoreless, New Waverly at bat. When we come back, stay with us. This is SHN. is Colin Conover here for New Waverly. The first pitch delivered from Trip Teal. Slow to the outside. The early count here is 1-0. Welcome back as we continue on here on SHN. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Friday night. New Waverly looking for some redemption here against Onalaska. Next pitch clipping the corner. Good curve there to bring us to 1-1. A lot of folks helping to make this coverage possible this season. I appreciate them. We'll get to all those folks here before too long. We'll set up your defense here in just a few moments as well. Here's the next one. Fouled in the backstop. It's a quick 1-2 count on Colin Conover. Trip Till delivering here for Onalaska. Takes a breath, left leg up, right-handed pitch. Swung on, got away from the catcher, and this could be one of those trying to get down there, but won't be in time. He's out. Could have been one of those rare strikeouts, but where you still reach, but unfortunately there, Conover is out on the throw from the catcher over to first. Got away from the catcher, but Conover is out. Brings up second in the order, the left fielder Daniel Nixon. And on deck is Max Tomahawk Tomzak. Cleaning up tonight, Jackson Hathorn, your 5 and 6 Otto Wineland, Jace Wells. And here's the first pitch on the way to Nixon. Nice off speed, cuts back in on the changeup for a strike. It's 0-1. One away, no score. Here's the next pitch. This one fouled off the handle of the bat. It's 0-2. Quick 0-2 count. Sun starting to settle in here, and the shade is coming. Here's one swung and kind of takes an awkward flop, and another throw from field over to Gibson.
Nice play by the catcher for out number 2.
Let's go, Max.
Seen a couple of them so far by field, making a quick throw, and that'll take us down third in the order. Again, it's Tomahawk Tomzak for your New Waverly Bulldogs. The catcher here, third in the order. Tomzak 0 for 1 in Tuesday's 10-0 shutout loss in Onalaska. Left-handed batter from the right-handed pitching of Trip Till. It's on its way, swung hard and lined it foul. They're off the first base side behind the Onalaska dugout. The early count is 0-1. And we are 2 away, 0-1 count here. Talked about the sun starting to shade behind the trees, bringing the shade out here from first to second. And the bump, if you're standing on it, just like Till, you're starting to be in the shade now. Here's the pitch. I'm going to check this one down to first. Told him that was a ball, and the count at 1-1. No, they're going to say, oh, it was a strike, 0-2. He checked it back at first, so 0-2 is the count. Here's the pitch to the outside. Now we've got a ball. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Tomzak. Nobody on, no score. Bottom of the first we are here tonight.
Yeah, he called it one on ground strike.
New Waverly trying to get started something here with Max Tomzak. Here's the pitch. This one hit hard foul, and it goes off the third base line. The at-bat stays alive. The battle starts up here on a 1-2, 2 away. Swung around and missed, and it's a 1-2-3 for Trip Till. No runs, hits, errors, nobody left on, and we're through 1. We're scoreless here on a Friday night edition of New Waverly Bulldog Baseball. We'll take a break. More to come as the sun settles here in East Texas. Stay with us. Back at it here on SHN 23. 3A baseball continues on a Friday night. Happy April the 10th. It's hard to believe that we're on that downhill slope. If you look at it one way, the other way is you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal. As we are already through halfway through district play, playoffs will be looming before too long. A few more series on the way. Anderson-Shiro sitting undefeated at the top. And so tonight, a very critical game for positioning here with New Waverly and Onalaska. This is your top three teams, I would say, here in 23-3A with Anderson-Shiro and then the battle between New Waverly and Onalaska. New Waverly team that just really wasn't in their stride, obviously, on Tuesday, and it's a team that we know is much better than that 10-0 shutout. And tonight, here through one, we are scoreless. Hey, I want to give a shout-out to some folks helping to make this broadcast possible. As always, our great friend Joshua Harris from the Oak Ridge Disciple House. Oak Ridge is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry, helping men 18 and older suffering from drug and alcohol addiction. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel. That light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. More information online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Here's De La Sutter. The first pitch is on the way. Low in the dirt. It's a 1-0 quick count here to start with Blaine De La Sutter. On deck, Trip Till, Pat Roth. Your sixth in the order at bat here in the top of this second inning. Here's the next delivery. Boy, close one there, but said it's a ball, 2-0. We'll get everything set up for you here on the board in just a few moments. Next one, close to the inside and a quick 3-0 count. Here's the next pitch. Too low, and 4 pitches results in De La Sutter on a leadoff walk. That'll bring up Trip Till, the pitcher, 5th in the order. So 1 on for Onalaska. They've had 1 on earlier. They had that leadoff by Wyatt Rez, who was caught stealing for the first out, though, back in the first. And so with 1 on here, an opportunity for Onalaska with Trip Till. Here's the pitch. Another one to the outside. And the count here at 1 ball and no strikes. Card, quick throw over to first, keeping him honest. Action Jackson Hathorn over there. Great young man, Texas Signature Roofing, one of our sponsors. We appreciate Jared Hathorn and the Hathorn family. We'll talk more about that as this goes on. Now the 1-0. Off speed for the strike to even us up at 1-1. Still waiting for Card to settle in a little bit here tonight. Great young man on this team. And as I mentioned earlier, just a warrior, can battle through injury, and we're seeing it here tonight. Here's the 1-1.
Yeah.
Beautiful pitch as it just paints the corner of the plate for a strike. It's 1-2. And the first time tonight the Card has been ahead here. Again, runner remains on first. Count at 1-2. No away, no score here in the top of the second. Card, another quick throw over there to Hathorn. And things really starting to shade quickly here over the field now as the sun settling more beyond those beautiful piney wood trees out there in left field. Card looks down for a moment. Here's the delivery. This one swung on, foul behind the Onalaska dugout. Battle will stay here at 1-2. It's also a nice night. It was warm-ups with Dad. The dads bringing their gloves. They were giving each other a hard time out there because some of the dads had the gloves with Velcro, and heard a couple of them saying, well, that's not a real glove, man. So they were giving each other some fun out there. That would be me. I would be the Velcro dad. I've got plenty of time, though. My son's only 2, so I've got time to save up. Here's one over to short. The throw to first is in time. Good play out there. And it was gone over with the throw to Hathorn. So De La Sutter advances over to second. And a great play out there from the throw by Conover to Hathorn over at first. There's one ricocheted into the backstop on Pat Roth. It's 0-1. So that runner is in scoring position. We are one out, though. And an early 0-1 count here in the top of the second. Pat Roth, here's the next pitch. Another one right there going across for the strike, 0-2. Tell you, once Jace Card starts to get dialed in, he settles into the game nicely. Keeping an eye over at second. Here's the pitch. This one swung on over to center. Wineland bounces in front of him. Runner's going to try to advance over to third. And a quick throw, and we'll put runners at 2 and 3. We'll give Roth the single, and then the stolen over there to second. De La Cerda over to third. It's kind of out there in that no man's land where it dropped. Credit Wineland, though, trying to run up under it. He was playing deep out there at center, almost dead center. And now runners both in scoring position at 2 and 3. One away here in the top of the second. Luke Field as we start the bottom of the order, batting 7th. Here's Card with the delivery. This one swung on into the chain link fence backstop, and the early count is 0-1. Have quite a few folks letting us know that they're out there. We'll get to those here in a few moments. Here's the pitch. Just to the outside, 1-1. Give a shout out tonight. Coach Drawdy joining us in, saying let's go Bulldogs. Ty Ramey is always joining us as well. We appreciate you guys texting in or messaging in through YouTube tonight. A little discussion here for a moment as Tom Zach comes over and talks to Card, and then Pat Roth heading over there to third to talk to his coach, and De La Cerda, he'll head back over to his place there at second. On deck is Gibson. One away, 1-1 count. Top of the second, no score, but runners on 2 and 3. Here's Jace Card's pitch. This one swung on. It will also drop out at left center. Should score 2. Run will come around and score 1 and 2, easy. And it's a quick 2-0 advantage on the 2 RBI single, and the stakes are going to start cooking early for Onalaska tonight. As De La Cerda will come in and score along with Roth. And again, Filled with the 2 RBI single. Bring up Jake Gibson.
Jake Gibson to hit.
One away. Here's the pitch. Low called ball. It's 1-0. Onalaska winning 5 of their last 6 23 3A games. Here's a swing, foul, non-catchable, as it will head well over the fence off the first or third base side. New Waverly, before this game on Tuesday in the 10-0 loss, they had a 4-game district win streak. Both teams tied for second coming in here tonight. Onalaska's offense putting up 22 runs, 17 runs, and 13 runs in the recent district games, and then that 10 run. Here's one popped up over to center. Wineland chasing it down, plenty of shade. And a great grab out there by Wineland. That's going to keep Luke Field over at first. So we are 2 away. Go down to Carson Davis. Carson Davies at bat. Last in the order here for Onalaska.
Good job, Max.
Getting a little away, and Tomzak able to get behind that. It counts 1-0, 2 away here for Onalaska. Chase Card taking a breath. Here's a right-handed pitch. Swung on, popped up, and Tomzak has the easy grab for the third and final out right there behind the third base line near the plate. And so, friends, 2 runs scored. Those 2 runs coming on 2 hits. There were no errors. 1 left on. We are through 1.5. In the bottom of the second coming up. This is New Waverly Bulldog Baseball on SHN. Stay with us, friends. Welcome back at it, friends. Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by G3 Give God Glory Baseball, a youth baseball organization out of Huntsville, started back in 2022 by the Nunez families and other local families who wanted a team that always puts glorifying God first and how the players compete, practice, and act on and off the field. They have teams in several age groups from 8U all the way up to 16U that play in local leagues, regional tournaments, statewide, and even out-of-state tournaments. They focus on developing baseball skills, character, teamwork, and faith. If you want to see more about what they're doing, search for G3 and a hyphen right next to that 3, Give God Glory Baseball on Facebook. We appreciate the Nunez family and their support in helping make these broadcasts possible this season. Had a chance to talk to them last Tuesday. Here's a quick hit and a throw over to first and a quick out here on Action Jackson. It was a grounder right over to third, and we are quickly 1 away here.
Third baseman brings up number 6, Otto Wineland.
Batting 5th for your Bulldogs, it is the center fielder, Otto Wineland. So 1 away here in the bottom of the second. New Waverly trails 2-0. Here's the pitch to Wineland. Had to duck under that one a little bit. It's 1-0. Ended up being a nice night. I'm glad these coaches decided to get after it here and play. Here's the 1-0. Boy, changeup comes back, just paints the right corner of the plate for the strike to even us at 1-1 and 1 out. A lot of discussion even up to about 45 minutes prior to the scheduled first pitch at 7. And they did decide to go ahead and play. Here's a swing and a miss here to take us to 1-2. Dylan Jenkins over there at third was making a run in. I guess he expected Wineland to place a bunt. Here's the 1-2. Curve to the outside to even us up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good eye right there by Otto Wineland. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, hard hit foul. Off the third base side. Count remains at 2-2. Insurance man making his way over there right now to cash in on a broken window maybe. Now the 2-2. This one fouled in the backstop, and the battle continues here for Otto Wineland. On deck, Jace Wells. 2-2, 1 away. Nobody on. Here's the pitch. Way to the outside. That'll take us to a full count. First time for New Waverly with the payoff pitch on the way. Of course, Till on the mound, Phil, the catcher, over at first, Gibson, Van at second, Jenkins at third. Here's the next pitch. This one over to short, trying to beat it out. He will not get there. Pat Roth with the throw to Gibson for the second out, and a quick 2 up, 2 down.
Brings up DH Jace Wells.
And now 5 in a row retired by Trip Teal. Here's Jace Wells for New Waverly, batting 6th, the designated hitter. Here's the pitch. Swung on just outside the bump. Here's a throw from short. How about that scoop up? Boy, Pat Roth is just on fire. And another one there, back-to-back plays for that young man. It's a quick 3 up, 3 down kind of inning for New Waverly. We are through 2, top of the 3rd as we move along here on a Friday edition of New Waverly Bulldog Baseball. Stay with us, more to come here on SHN. Welcome back, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a beautiful Friday night in East Texas. The rain has moved out. The popcorn is popping. The concession below us is open. Baseball is alive and well as we are more than halfway through district play already here in the Lone Star State. And we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. I want to thank HITTSS Tactical Supply for their support. Here in New Waverly, a locally owned outdoor sporting goods firearm store serving families across our county. Whether you enjoy hunting, spending time outdoors, or are looking for products designed to help keep your home and your family and you safe, their team is committed to knowledgeable service and quality equipment. It's HITTSS Tactical Supply online, HITTSTacticalsupply.com. We appreciate their generous support in helping to make these broadcasts possible this year. First pitch from Card is on the way as we go back to the top. I believe it's Wyatt Rez. It is, and it's an early 1-0 count. Rez 1 for 1, singled, and a leadoff single on a payoff pitch back in the first, and then he was trying to steal over to second. Was thrown out for the first out back in that inning. Next pitch on the way is a ball as well. It's a quick 2-0 count. Here's the next delivery. This one swung on over to left. Daniel Nixon with the left hand stretch of the arm gently up in the air and able to grab it for the first out over at left. That'll take us to Colin Van, the second baseman. 0 for 1, grounded over to second for the second out back in the first. It was really the heart of your lineup, the middle doing the work to get those 2 runs on the board. The top not able to produce much, but we're still very early into this one. That pitch, a called strike. It's an early 0-1 here on Van. Here's the next delivery. Swung on late. Nunez makes the grab over at right. He was in the right place for the second out.
2 outs here in the top of the 3rd.
Nunez had the right shift there on the field and was able to run up under that one and grab it.
Number 14, Ty Phillips.
And that'll take us down to the left fielder. It's Ty Phillips. He's 0 for 1, grounded one over to third for the third out, back on a 2-1 pitch. Here's the pitch to him. Just to the, I thought that one. I think it was a strike 0-1. We'll call it here. Here's the next pitch. That one just out of his reach, 1-1. Here's the next pitch. Too close to the inside. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Keep dealing, buddy.
Jace Card pretty quick in his deliveries tonight. Here's the next right-handed pitch. A strike here. Here's the next pitch. Now it's a full count at 3-2. That previous one was a ball a couple of times ago. So now we're at that full payoff pitch coming up from Jace Card. Here's the delivery. This one chopped up to the bump and a nice little waltz over to first. And how about that for a 1-2-3 productive inning for New Waverly? No runs, hits, errors, nobody left on. Bulldogs with the chance to bite back, trailing 2-0. We'll take a break in the bottom of the third coming up here on SHN. Stay with us, friends. Welcome back at it, friends. About to get underway here in the third. Due up for your New Waverly Bulldogs. We go to the bottom of the order. 7, 8, 9, Ryzen Nunez, Camden Allred, and Peyton Rayleigh. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Jared Hathorn, our friends over at Texas Signature Roofing. When it comes to protecting your home, absolutely trust matters. And that's why homeowners across our area choose the experts, choose the ones who do it best. They choose Texas Signature Roofing. You see their signs all up and down Highway 30 and all across the county. Well, they help take the stress off your shoulders when dealing with storm damage and claims as well. Your roof is your home's first line of defense, and their team will walk you through every step of the way and every option to find the right solution. It's a commitment, 100% to customer satisfaction and service that continues well after the job is done. You can trust that name, Texas Signature Roofing. They're online at TexasSignatureRoofing.com. Thank you again to Jared Hathorn for your generous support and helping make these broadcasts possible. In fact, they have been with us on every football broadcast and every baseball broadcast. Here's the first delivery to Ryzen Nunez, just to the outside for a ball, and the early count here is 1-0. Next pitch on the way. Swung on, rolled to third. Jenkins throwing to first. In time, good run by Nunez, but just about 2 steps too slow, and that was right in there for the out. Not that he was going slow, just there's no way he could have ran fast. He was running as fast as he could. He ran pretty quick. And a quick 5-3 for the 1 out. Here, bring up Camden Allred, 8th in the order, the second baseman for your Bulldogs. Never great once in a while. I know things will kind of freeze up. We set our dish out there. There's a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. But forgot to align it as we were trying to get things rolling here. And so, again, if things pop in and out, we'll fix that a little bit later. Next pitch out of the reach, too. It's a quick 0-2 count here. 2-0 your score. Onalaska with the lead. Bottom of the third. We are 1 away on an 0-2. Nobody on for New Waverly. Here's the next pitch. Boy, that one close. Had to do a little shuffleboarding around there. It's 1-2. Here's the delivery. Well to the outside. Getting away from the catcher there. It's 2-2 the count. Next one on the way. Called strike, got him looking. For the third strikeout of the night. That'll take us down to the bottom of the order, Peyton Rayleigh. Rayleigh, the third baseman here for your Bulldogs. From left to right on the defense for Onalaska's Phillips, De La Cerda, and Davis. The first one comes across on the corner as a strike. It's 0-1. 2 away, bottom of the third. New Waverly trailing 2-0. Next pitch and a good eye for the ball. It's 1-1. Appreciate Ty Stutler helping out again tonight with camera. Tate up here with his support also. Here's the 1-1. To the inside, 2 balls and a strike on Peyton Rayleigh. Makes it a lot easier when you got great people helping out. These young men have been with us every step of the way this year, and I appreciate him. Tate came on, and it's been great having him too. He provides a lot of extra support when we need it. He's also our designated find out where we go to eat guy, and you always got to have one of those on your team. Next year we'll designate him as the carry the money guy too, you know, to bring the money also. He's looking at me saying, no way. He's not even paying attention, Ty. A little bit of time called here for a moment. There's a discussion with Luke Field and Trip Till out there on the mound. They're going to walk back to their respective areas. Nobody on, bottom of the third, 2 away, and the count at 2-1 here on Peyton Rayleigh. It'd be nice to get a little rally started up here for the Bulldogs. Here's the pitch. Fouled off the bat into the backstop. It's 2-2. Now the 2-2. Swung on, flopped over to third. Jenkins has been busy. The routine play. Throw to first to Gibson. And it's 9 in a row retired here for Teal. He is having a great game. New Waverly still looking for the answer. They're going to have to hold up on defense. Jace Card set to continue dealing when we come back. It's New Waverly Bulldog Baseball here on SHN. Top of the 4th coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back, friends. Want to give a shout out to another one of our great sponsors, Karen Hybner. We appreciate her son Jace Wells on the team. Her email, Karen at mychomeloans.com. You can find her on Facebook. Karen Hybner, that's Hybner, the Jolly Godfrey team. It's your home, your loan, your terms. Local mortgage broker with access to over 70 lenders. So you don't have to settle. First-time buyer, credit challenges, self-employed, no worries. Karen has you covered. She will take great care of you. And it's always good to have a choice of not just one lender, but over 70 plus that she can find the right one for you in your situation. Give her a call. The best way to get a hold of her is through her email, Karen at mychomeloans.com. Again, we appreciate her. Look her up on Facebook as well. Thank you, Karen, for your generous support of New Waverly Bulldog Baseball on SHN. The first pitch is a swing and a miss here on Blaine De La Cerda, and a good off-speed pitch there by Jace Card. It's a quick 0-1. Here's the next delivery. It's to the inside and low to even us at 1 ball and 1 strike as we are underway here in the top of the 4th. Game moving along quickly tonight. We got underway just 42 minutes ago. Next pitch, curve to the outside, 2-1. Sun is completely settled. The lights starting to illuminate the field here tonight in New Waverly. Here's one hit over to third, a scoop by Rayleigh. The throw to first, a little too high.
Trust yourself, P. You're all right.
Stepping in to hit the pitcher, Trip Till.
De La Cerda will reach on the E5, and that'll bring up Trip Till, 5th in the order. The pitcher, number 8 on his jersey. No outs here in the top of the 4th. Onalaska trying to add to their 2-0 advantage right now with that runner on first. That's your 3rd run. 4th run is at home plate. And it is Trip Till. He's 0 for 1. Grounded 1 to short for the first out. Back on a 1-2 pitch in the second. Card set to deliver. Here's the pitch. Pulled back on this one, foul, 0-1. Now this is where things started for Onalaska back in the second inning. It was De La Cerda reaching on a walk. Luke Field with that 2 RBI single to bring in De La Cerda and Pat Roth. Next pitch. There, the ball 1-1 is your count. Card taking some time now. Looks up and down once, and now the right-handed pitch on the way. This one, hard hit over to center. Wineland slips, but he's able to regain his composure and makes the grab. The field a little wet out there from the showers earlier today, but a great play by Wineland. He was able to hop up right away and makes that grab for the first out, and that will keep De La Cerda at bay over at first.
Fly ball for out number 1.
Going to bring up Pat Roth, the shortstop. Roth 1 for 1, singled the stolen base over to second and came in and scored the second run from that Luke Field 2 RBI single back in the second. Card, quick toss over there to first. Ooh, thankfully, Action Jackson was able to extend and haul that one in. It could have got away from him. Here's the next pitch. Now you got one kind of stuck out there in the no man's land. They're going to go back and forth. And able to steal that base somehow. He was able to break away and get the stolen base over to second. So De La Cerda steals over to second. Here to Pat Roth. Runner in scoring position over at second after the stolen base just a few moments ago is De La Cerda. We are 1 away here in the top of the 4th. Onalaska leading 2-0. Here's Card's pitch. The bunt is placed, and a good bunt. Boy, you can't hardly bunt it any better than that. Roth will single on the bunt. That will advance De La Cerda over at third. Now you got runners in the hot corners for Onalaska. Coach Compton going to have a chat here with Mr. Clint. Luke Field as we go to the bottom. 7, 8, and 9. Just one away here in the top of the 4th. Here's the next pitch, or the first one. Really close to the inside there on Luke Field on that first offering to him. It's 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Swung on late. Grab from short, gets away from him. Run will come in and score. The third run is De La Cerda. Would have been a hard one. It was kind of behind him. We'll give the single to Field, and the Roth will advance over to second. 3-0 now on Alaska.
Brings up first baseman Jake Gibson.
Take us 8th in the order. The first baseman is Jake Gibson. He's 0 for 1. Popped one up on a 1-0 pitch to center for the second out, back in the second. And Coach Compton having a chat over on the bump right now. While he's having a chat, we'll give a chat to more of our sponsors. A big thank you to our good friend Robert Lindeman of HITTSS Solutions Player Development. HITTSS Solutions, helping to instruct the stars to shine. Robert, a great friend of mine, baseball coach, does a wonderful job teaching valuable baseball skills that will help on and off the field. So if you have someone or know of somebody that's currently playing, he likes to work with a lot of high school students, baseball and softball, go to his website, HITTSS Solutions, HITTSS, that's HITTSS Solutions. Robert Lindeman helping to instruct the stars to shine. Card will remain out there after the conference with head coach Compton. And we'll continue on. Jake Gibson still waiting for that first offering. Again, 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. That one hit him, and the tattoo shop will open for the first time tonight, and ducks on a pond for Onalaska. Roth over to third, Field to second, Gibson with the bruise over to first. Now for the first time tonight, bases are loaded. That'll bring up ninth in the order, Carson Davies. It's a beautiful setting for baseball. It's kind of hard to capture all that on the camera as the colors get washed out, but the sky just beautiful. Friday night. Here's the pitch, a swing and a miss. As he got Davies to take a bite. 0-1. A couple of more of those here, just one away. And it's a 3-0 advantage for Onalaska. Here's the next pitch. That one got in too close. Hit him.
No, he didn't.
And another run comes in.
All right, let's go, boys.
Let's go, Wyatt.
Coach Compton was down there having a chat with the home plate umpire, and you heard him down there saying he stuck his elbow out. The umpire said no. And back-to-back tattoo shops forces in another run. It's 4-0 on Alaska. Bases remain loaded. We go back to the top. Wyatt Reyes. 1 for 2. And that one hits him. And that will force in another run. Goodness. So Field comes in to score. Gibson forced to third. Davies to second. And 3 hit by pitches in a row. The bruising has started. Now Reyes over to first. And it's a 5-0 on Alaska advantage. With the second visit up there to the bump, we may have a change. We'll see. Jackson Hathorn coming over there as well from first to have a talk. Doesn't look like it yet, but we'll see. It's Coach Compton having that discussion. They're going to keep him out there.
Let's go, Colin. You got it, bud.
Jace Carr trying to get settled in here as we go to Colin Van. Just one away, 5-0 advantage on Alaska. Here's the pitch. Too close to the inside, 1-0 count. Ty Phillips on deck. And after that, we'll bat around here in the fourth. Here's the next pitch. High upstairs. Quick 2-0 count here. Runners remain on 1, 2, and 3. Here's the next delivery. Corner strike, 2-1. Next pitch just out of the reach for a ball, 3-1.
Hey, let him hit it. Let's go.
That pitch to the outside, a walk will force another run. This time Gibson coming in, Davis over to third, Reyes forced to second, and Van over at first, and I think that will probably do it. So another discussion here with Coach Compton. And that will wrap it up for Jace Card. He got off to a good start, but things got a little tough. Great young man out there. You hate that for him. He'll get a pat on the back down there from his teammates. Trevor Tradersky, the first one to greet him. Tradersky, I like to call him the heart of this team, a great young man. So things will start to switch now as Aldred will get there on the mound. And we'll take a break. We'll get it set up for you when we come back. It's New Waverly Bulldog baseball trailing 6-0 here in the top of the fourth, one away. We'll be back in a moment here on SHN. All right, back at it here as Camden Allred on the mound now on the early pitch, 1-0 to Ty Phillips. We're about to bat around. Here's one that's plopped over off the third base line and his foul. That'll even us at 1-1. Again, it is a 6-0 advantage. Sorry for taking a while to get that scoreboard updated for you here on our end. Here's the next one. Ooh. Boy, that curveball was wicked. 2-1. Almost came back in for him. Wells over at second. Here's one just out of the reach of third, and that should be another RBI single, and it is. So the third stake cooking now as Phillips with the RBI single to force in Davies. Reyes over to third, Van to second, and we have batted around. So Blaine De La Cerda back at it for the second time here in this inning. A big thank you to the folks down in the concessions bringing us a little snack. Here's one, lined it over to short. The throw to second to force it, and that finally does it. You just wished it. You wish that that could have been set up a little bit earlier. So a line to short for the second out, and then the forced out over at third, or at second for the third and final out. But not before Onalaska doing some damage and really extending the lead, putting up 4 runs in that inning, batting around 1. Those 4 runs coming off of 3 hits, I believe. 1 error and 2 left on, really, if you look at it that way. 7-0 is your lead. So again, 7 runs. I think I said 4. It was actually 5 in that inning. So 5 runs coming on those 3 hits. 7-0. Again, your score. We'll take a break. Bottom of the 4th coming up when we come back. See if New Waverly can respond here on SHN. Stay with us, friends. Our friends at Oak Ridge Disciple House. The Oak Ridge Disciple House, a 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry, helping men who are suffering from drug and alcohol addiction. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. More information online, oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Here's one, grounder over to second, a routine play and plenty of time for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out. On Colin Conover, he tried to get there. And that'll take us to second in the order, Daniel Nixon. 7-0 deficit as New Waverly trails here in the bottom of the 4th. Nixon 0 for 1. There's the first pitch to him. Fastball just out of the reach, 1-0. Here's the next one. Called strike, 1-1. Now the 1-1. Whew. Boy, that was close. 2-1. Now the pitch. This one swung on into the backstop fence to even us at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 away for New Waverly, bottom of the 4th, trailing 7-0 here on their home field. Here's the next pitch. This one swung on and another one into the backstop. That bat stays alive here on a 2-2 count to Daniel Nixon. Always appreciate the folks here at New Waverly, always so hospitable and just great people here in this community, in this district. Great schools here in New Waverly, very high TEA rankings, and they do it right here in this community. Here's the 2-2, curve to the outside. 3-2, full count ahead. And just appreciate them offering us the privilege of being able to bring you these broadcasts. Not a right to do it, it's a privilege. Coach Larry over here to my right, who's the PA here, and he's also with basketball, does a great job. Here's one hit just out of the reach of first, and the no-no goes away. It's a 1-out single for Daniel Nixon as New Waverly finds a little life here in the bottom of the 4th. Tomahawk Tom Zach up now for New Waverly. 0 for today, struck out swinging on a 1-2 for the 3rd and final out, part of a 3-up, 3-down opening frame. Here's the pitch. Foul in the box, 0-1. Here's the pitch. Just out of the zone for a ball. One of the guys down there having fun. Here's the 1-1. To the outside, good eye, 2-1. Looking forward to a busy weekend here, starting with New Waverly baseball. The next pitch swung on, fouled way off the third base side. The 7th annual Peyton Irwin Foundation Pineapple Run happening tomorrow morning bright and early in Huntsville. That is Deanna Irwin, her wonderful husband Billy, as they honor the legacy of their beloved daughter Peyton, who tragically lost her life to someone texting and driving behind them over 7 years ago. Deanna and her husband have started the Peyton Irwin Foundation shortly after that to help raise awareness of distracted driving. You can find out more info about that online at PeytonIrwinFoundation.org. They do an annual run, and about 450 expected tomorrow at Kate Bar Ross Park in Huntsville. The count at 3-2. The payoff pitch coming up. Good eye here by Tom Zach. Here's the pitch. Runner takes off. It doesn't matter anyways because he walked. And now runners on 1 and 2, and New Waverly trying to get some fire going here in the bottom of the 4th with 1 out. Nixon over to second. Tom Zach reaching on a walk on the payoff pitch. And Trevor Twarderski will come in to run for Tom Zach, as he always does. Always, as I said, like to call Trevor the heart of this team. He's a great young man, brings a lot of energy to these guys. It'll bring up 4th in the order. It's action Jackson Hathorn cleaning up here for New Waverly. He's 0 for grounded 1 to third for the first out back in the 2nd. Here's the pitch. Swung on over to right. This one should drop in the glove, and it does, and no opportunities for runners to advance, and a tough break there for New Waverly. Good try by Hathorn for the 2nd out. Timothy Miller joining us, cheering on the Bulldogs on our YouTube channel. Timothy, great to hear from you. Thanks for letting us know that you're out there tonight here on SHN. We are 2 away, New Waverly trailing 7-0 with runners on 1st and 2nd here in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the pitch. Otto Weinland trying to place bunt. There's the train. You get to hear it a couple of times here. Only thing, you don't get to see it like you do at Bomber Stadium, but you just love hearing it across the street. Right behind us off the third base side is where that train is across the street. Now the 0-1. Curve to the outside to even us up at a ball and a strike. I want to encourage you tonight, if you're out there listening and maybe somebody's on your heart that you haven't talked to in a while, pick up the phone and call them tonight. As here's the next pitch. Just outside to the right. Good job there by Field getting behind it. As I sit here broadcasting tonight, thinking of my dear friend Michael, and thought about him at Easter. We used to talk quite a bit, and we were still pretty close friends, but we hadn't talked much recently, just with the busyness of life. And boy, I sure wish I would have called him. I was going to give him a call right before Easter. Here's the 2-1. This one kind of flopped its way over to third. The reach, and he's not going to be able to get there. The runner, though, getting off the third base bag. He's going to try to come in and tagged out. 2 away, and runners, that'll do it. That's 3 outs. That's 3. Boy, tough there for New Waverly. And that will come to an end here in the bottom of the fourth as 2 are left on. Could have been, it's on a pond, but it got away from him. We'll take a break. Top of the 5th coming up. It'll be the New Waverly defense when we come back. This is New Waverly Bulldog Baseball on SHN. Stay with us. Back at it as we continue on, just underway here in the top of the 5th. And the first pitch thrown a ball here to Trip Teal. We'll go 5, 6, and 7 in the top of this 5th. Onalaska with the 7-0 advantage. And again, the early count to Teal is 1-0. Allred's next pitch on the way. Nice off speed in the zone for a strike. It's 1-1. I will tell you one thing, the camera view right here is quite nice. Here's one over to right. It's going to drop for New Waverly. He'll round first, and standing tall, he's going to come to third, trying to get there. The throw, the slide, the dive. He is safe. The ball was dropped, and how about that? A triple for, oh man, good night. He came around, it was dropped, and a triple right there for Trip Teal. Wow. Give him credit.
Hanson will be the courtesy runner.
Give the young man credit, and the courtesy runner is out there at third. Oh, it was a good throw, and I thought he was going to get him. Strike here to Pat Roth. It's 0-1. Got to call it how it is, and that was just a heck of a play. It was a good attempt there by New Waverly on the throw. Next pitch here to the outside to even it at 1-1 on Pat Roth. Roth, by the way, 2 for 2 here this evening. Scored both times, singled on both of his at-bats. Here's the next one. Swing and a miss. Maybe not here, 1-2. Allred trying to get him. Here's the pitch. This one over to third. The throw to first is in time. He's out. And we're 1 away here in the top of the 5th.
One down for Luke Field.
Throw to first in time. We are 1 away. Runner remains on third as Trip Till after his triple moments ago. Luke Field. Field also 2 for 2 tonight. Here's the first pitch to him. Swung on over to left. And 8th in the order.
Let's go 4.
Watch out.
Base paths are cleared. It is 8-0 on Alaska. Gibson, left-handed batter. Here's the right-handed pitch. Couple of pitches here just to the outside. A quick 2-0 early count. Next pitch. Change up back to the inside. It's 2-1. Next pitch on the way. This one over to second. And the throw to first is in time, and that will do it over there to Action Jackson.
Good job, Cam.
Good job, buddy.
Let's go, boys.
Cannon
Let's do it
Allred
again.
trying to hold his own down there. It was one run, though. One run on, one hit, no errors, nobody left on. Onalaska adding more, 8-0 as we go to the bottom of the fifth. 4.5 gone. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. It's New Waverly Bulldog Baseball on SHN. Welcome back at it, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Friday night. It's Friday, April the 10th. New Waverly trailing Onalaska 8-0. As we get underway, it is Jace Wells. We'll go 6, 7, and 8 to start here in the bottom of the fifth. New Waverly trailing 8-0. The first pitch, the curve to the outside. Again, let us know you're out there tonight. Many of you have already messaged us throughout YouTube. You can always text us also on our Bulldog fan text line. Here is one that stays fair, and the throw, safe. Boy, Jace was on the run. He had a nice little leadoff single. That would have been a hard one to come down on. Nice little roll as it just hugged that first base line. Got to start somewhere, and Jace Wells doing it here for New Waverly in the bottom of this fifth. That'll take us to Ryzen Nunez. Here's the pitch. Swung on and
Coach, protect your livelihood. Don't do that.
Coach Compton out there with the barehanded, almost a barehanded grab. He's going to have a little stinger there on the right hand after that one. Count here 0-1, Ryzen Nunez.
Show 'em what it's about.
Throw over to first in time. Here's the pitch. Swung around and Phil able to stay behind that one. It's 0-2. Now the 0-2. Swung around and
I have it out here. I have it out there.
Yes, sir.
well, they got 2 outs.
You gotta swing like he does, dude.
Interference was called.
cut yours off and see how you do.
If you didn't step over the plate, it's not interference.
And they called it an interference 2 away. Just like that, will clear the base pass. That's a tough break again for New Waverly. Here's one fouled off the first base side behind some of the fans over there behind the fence. Camden Allred 0-1. Next one, just off the plate to even us at 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Dropped in for a strike, 1-2. It's a good change up there by Trip Teal. In bottom of the 5th, 2 away. Onalaska leading 8-0.
Whatever you want here. Whatever you want here. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. Let's go, 1-9, let's go.
Till's delivery. Fastball just out of the zone to even us up at 2 across the board. This one into the backstop, ricochets behind the Onalaska dugout. Keep us going at 2-2 here with Camden Allred. Here's the next pitch. Pulled back to the inside and takes us to a full count. The payoff, swung on, and the right fielder not able to make a play, kind of drops in that Bermuda's triangle out there at right center for a 2-out single. Camden Allred, nice hit. And now we'll see Peyton Rayleigh. Rayleigh 0 for 1. He grounded 1 to third on a 2-2 for the 3rd out, back in the 3rd. Bottom of the 5th we are. New Waverly trails 8-0. We'll have a courtesy runner come in. Colin Namkin coming in to run there at first for Allred.
Right here, it's elevated, bud.
Here's the pitch to Rayleigh. One ball, no strikes. A little bit to the outside.
Go, Pete. Regroup right here, bud.
Here's the next pitch. Just want to hop it on the ground, and Field has been a little busy getting behind him tonight. The count at 0-2. Or beg your pardon, 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes to Peyton Rayleigh here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 away, runner on 1. New Waverly trails 8-0.
Good.
Loves you, Napkin.
Namkin out there running at first for Allred, who had the payoff single just a few moments ago. Another one gets away, and this time New Waverly will be able to advance over to second in scoring position.
Let's go, Pete.
3-0 to Rayleigh. Here's the pitch.
Good out.
And that one just out of there, and New Waverly's got runners on 1 and 2. I believe the first time tonight that we have seen multiple runners on base for the Bulldogs. And there'll be a quick discussion here at the mound. So good eye there by Rayleigh as he reaches on a walk. During this, we'd like to give thanks again to our sponsors, Give God Glory, G3 Baseball, a youth baseball organization out of Walker County, started back in 2022 by local families, including the Nunez family, who wanted a team that always puts glorifying God first and how the players compete, practice, and act on and off the field. They have teams in several age groups from 8U to 16U that play in local leagues and regional tournaments, state tournaments, and even out-of-state tournaments, focusing on developing baseball skills, character, teamwork, and faith. If you want to see more about what they're doing, search for them on Facebook, G3 and the dash right next to the 3, G3 Give God Glory Baseball on Facebook to find their official page, photos, updates, and schedule information. We appreciate the Nunez family and all of those with G3 Give God Glory Baseball. Also a thank you to Mata's Tactical Supply in New Waverly, a locally owned outdoor and sporting goods store serving families across the county. Whether you enjoy hunting, spending time outdoors, or looking for products designed to help keep your home and family safe, their team is committed to knowledgeable service and quality equipment. Mata's Tactical Supply, proudly supporting the Bulldogs. You can learn more about their products and store information on their website at matastacticalsupply.com. We also want to thank Texas Signature Roofing, Jared Hathorn. When it comes to protecting your home, trust matters. That's why homeowners across our area choose Texas Signature Roofing. Your roof is your home's first line of defense, and their team is ready to walk you through every option to find the right solution for your needs. With a commitment to 100% customer satisfaction and service that continues even after the job is done, you can trust our friends at Texas Signature Roofing. Their website, texassignatureroofing.com. As we get back into it here, back to the top of the order for New Waverly. Runners on 1 and 2. Conover, this one lined foul off the first base side. Conover 0 for 2. Out swinging in the first. And then a grounder over to second for the first out back in the 4th. And an early count here is 0 and 1 on Colin Conover. Here's one, and this one drops right over to second. And a tough break for the third and final out. And so that will do it through 5. Top of the 6 coming up. We'll take a break. More to come here on SHN. Welcome back at it, friends. As we continue on, we will go 9-1-2 for Onalaska with a 8-0 advantage as we get underway here in the top of the sixth. First pitch and out of the reach. This one will pop up over to first, and Hathorn on a second pitch able to make the easy grab right there at first up in the air. So the pop up over to first for the first out will take us back to the top. It's number 3, the designated hitter, Wyatt Reyes. Here's the pitch. And to the outside, early ball, 1-0 count. Again, one away here in the top of the sixth. Onalaska, tornado advantage. The next one right there in the zone for a strike to even us up at a ball and a strike. One's across the board. Here's the next pitch. Curve to the outside, 2-1. The next delivery from Allred on the way. Corner strike. We're at 2-2. New Waverly still looking for their first strikeout of the night. This one just to the inside to take us to 3-2, and Allred's got a chance here. Here's the pitch. And high to the outside. So on the payoff, a one-out walk for Wyatt Reyes. Here's the first pitch to him. Another curve to the outside to take us 1-0, Colin Van. Here's the pitch. Swung on over to short. Little flip, looking for the double play, and this one a little too high as it floats over near the fence of the dugout. And a runner will be able to get over to second, but it is the second out. So Reyes is forced out. And Van over to second. That'll bring up Ty Phillips, third in the order, the left fielder. And a quick discussion out here.
That's fine. Yes, he did. Into the bag and then over with the spikes high. They're going to get somebody hurt. They already did it last game. We got to call that.
That was total accident, coach. Hey! I got a warning here. I got a warning here. Okay, we're done. We're done. I'll kill the game right now.
The home plate umpire giving a warning to both sides, saying if they keep it up, kill the game. And so they're going to quiet down both sides here. They were talking about the spikes being up just a few minutes ago. Again, 2 away, runner on second for Onalaska. Here's the pitch. And a nice pitch there by Allred. On the change up to Phillips for the strike as it came across the zone. It's 0-1. Next one swung on over to right. Nunez down there to make the easy grab for the third and final out. So no runs on one hit, no errors, one left on. We are through 5.5, bottom of the sixth coming up. We'll take a break. Stay with us. More to come. It's New Waverly Bulldog Baseball live tonight on the SHN Sports Broadcast Network. All right, back at it as we get rolling here in the bottom of the 6th, and Nixon on the first pitch will get hit. And he'll reach over to first on the bruise.
Brings up the catcher, Max Tomczak.
We'll go 2, 3, and 4 here. Max Tomczak followed by Action Jackson Hathorn. New Waverly looking for a little life here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. Boy, that one close. It gets away, and runner will take off on the wild pitch over to second. And so now in scoring position is New Waverly. They got to get something started. They could do it here. The count at 1-0 on Max Tomczak. Next pitch. Popped out of the catcher's hand on that one. It's 2-0. Here's the next pitch. Runner's going to take off over to third. Sliding, diving. I think he's out. Oh, safe. Hey, we'll take it. So a stolen base for New Waverly's Daniel Nixon. And he's over to third. Count here at 3-0, by the way, on Tomczak. Here's the next pitch. And he will reach on a walk. And New Waverly, for the first time tonight, has runners on the hot corners at 1 and 3. It's Tomczak over at first and Nixon to third. And we'll see Trevor Choderski, I thought for a moment, was going to come out and run. Coach is going to call him back, and they're going to have a chat at the mound here as Onalaska's coach steps up to have a quick chat. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Stay with us. More to come here on SHN. Once again, we want to thank some folks helping to make this possible. And tonight it's Karen Hybner, along with the rest of our great sponsors. Karen, a mortgage broker, your home, your loan, your terms. Local Texas mortgage broker with access to over 70 lenders. If you're a first-time buyer, maybe some credit challenges, self-employed, Karen Hybner has the tools to help you out. You can get started today. Email her, Karen at mychomeloans.com. It's Karen at MyC Home Loans. Karen Hybner, the Jolly Godfrey team. Thank you, Karen, for your generous support in helping to make these broadcasts possible this season here on SHN Sports. So we'll get back into it here, and Trip Teal remains on the mound after the discussion a few moments ago. Here's the first pitch on the way, and another one to the outside, this time to Jackson Hathorn. Action Jackson at bat. He's 0 for 2, and when you're 0 for 2, I used to say you're due, and we'll see if Jackson can live up to it here. He's a great young man on his team. Here's the pitch, a swing and a miss, and 1-1. He is due, friends. Next pitch on the way. There it goes to left. And an RBI single will break the 0 on the board. Action Jackson and New Waverly comes alive here in the bottom of the 6th. So finally some steaks get cooking on the grill for New Waverly, as Action Jackson with the RBI single out to left brings in Nixon. And another discussion here. Tomczak was over to second, and that may do it for Trip Teal, and it does. So a pitching change on the way. Teal had a good one through 5 innings And they'll have a pitching change. Onalaska will. We'll take a break. We'll have it when we come back. New Waverly with a little bit of life here in the bottom of the 6th. This is SHN. Back at it is Dylan Jenkins over at left will now come in and pitch. Or I beg your pardon, over at third. Pitching now for Onalaska. New Waverly with 1 run here, trailing 8-1 in the bottom of the 6th, but runners on 1 and 2, no outs. Here's the first pitch from Jenkins. Bunt is placed. Whew. Luckily that one zings right above us here in the press box and just over the fence. On Otto Wineland, his early count is 0-1. Well, that was the first run scored on Onalaska in 18 runs. They were outscored at that moment 18-0, and now 1 run here in the last 2 games. You go back, and talking about Onalaska, you go back to Tuesday where they were shut out 10-0, and they were down 8-0 here. But we said Jackson was 0-2. He was due. He responded. The RBI single moments ago. Here's the pitch. That one came across, and it's a strike, 0-2. Runner trying to take off the third. They're going to throw it. He's not going to get there in time. Tversky was trying to take off. He's out, caught stealing. Hathorn over to second. So 1 away now for New Waverly. Count remains 0-2 on Otto Wineland. Action Jackson over to second just moments ago. Here's the pitch to Wineland. Curve to the outside. It's a ball and 2 strikes. 1 away. New Waverly trailing 8-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. This one swung on and almost lined it into the Onalaska dugout off the first base side. The bat will continue here at 1-2. On deck, Jace Wells. Appreciate his family and Karen Hybner. Here's the pitch. This one popped up just over the press box and over the fence. The count remains at 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him for the second out. And this will bring up Jace Wells for New Waverly. Wells 1 for 2. Grounded 1 to short for the third out back in the second, then singled in the fifth, but was eventually out in that fifth inning. Here's the first pitch to him. Curve to the outside. Runner going to try to steal over to third. And a stolen base is safe for New Waverly. Over at third, it's action Jackson Hathorn. Count 1-0 on Jace Wells. Here's the next delivery. Whew, close to the inside. 2-0. Here's the pitch. This one swung on late, fouled off the first base side. First strike here on Wells. It's 2-1. 2 away for New Waverly. Trailing 8-1 here in the bottom of the sixth. Here's the next pitch. High up, 3-1. Hitter's count here for Wells. Jenkins set to deliver. Right-handed pitch on the way. Wells with the good eye. And for the second time tonight, Wells is on base. He'll reach on a 2-out walk. And now runners on the hot corners for New Waverly at 1-3. Ryzen Nunez now as we start the bottom of the order. Batting seventh, the right fielder. Had a very productive night out there in right field for New Waverly. Struck out swinging, though, on his last at-bat back in the fifth. That was for the first out. Here he is, the pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Runners quickly getting back and safe. Another runner going to take off over to second, and the stolen base is effective. So Wells does steal over to second, so now runners both in scoring position. It's an 0-1 count on Nunez. Runners at 2-3 for New Waverly, 2 away, trailing 8-1. And again, an 0-1 count here to Ryzen Nunez. Here's the pitch. Dropped it in the zone to take us to a quick 0-2. Here's the next pitch. Oh, good night. Nunez took a bruiser. And now the base is loaded for the first time tonight for New Waverly. Nunez at first, Wells at second, Hathorn over at third. That'll take us down to Camden Allred. Allred 1 for 2, struck out looking on a 2-2 for the second out back in the third. Singled in the fifth and was left stranded. The first pitch to the outside, it's 1-0. Here's the pitch. Corner strike, 1-1. Here's the next pitch. To the outside and a good eye. It's 2-1. Here's the next delivery. Swing and a miss. Twos across the board for New Waverly with ducks on a pond, trailing 8-1.
Come on, Dylan, you got it, bud.
Here's the pitch. Got him. Tough break for New Waverly. Good pitching, give him credit. And that will wrap it up for the Bulldogs here in the 6th. They'll have 3 more outs, but first they've got to play some defense. 8-1, Onalaska leads. They're back at it in the top of the 7th when we come back here on SHN. We'll go 4, 5, and 6 in the heart of the order, starting with Blaine De La Serra for Onalaska. Camden Allred remains on the mound. Here's the right-handed pitch, a swing, a hit out to left, and a line, and an easy grab for the first out. It's 1 pitch, 1 out to left field. And a good job by Daniel Nixon with an easy grab.
Brings up Trip Till.
It'll bring up Trip Till, who pitched for 6 innings, almost through 6. Here's the first pitch to him to the outside. It's a 1-0 early count to Till. Here's the next delivery. Another one to the outside. A quick 2-0 early advantage here for Till. Here's the next one. Had to step out of the way, and now a 3-0 count. Nobody on. Here's the pitch. 4 pitches and a quick 1-out walk for Trip Till.
4-pitch walk to Till brings up Pat Roth.
Bring up the shortstop, Pat Roth. Roth 2 for 3 tonight. Here's the pitch. The 5th ball thrown here by Allred out to the outside. Here's the next pitch. Dropped in for the strike. Needed that one. It's 1-1. Next delivery. Swung on late. Jackson with the grab in foul territory for the second out. Over at first. 2 away takes us to Luke Field, 7th in the order. Field also 2 for 3 tonight. Field out the sac fly out to left. The second out back in the 5th. First pitch to him, swung on late. This one just going over the Onalaska dugout off the first base side. It's 0-1 on Luke Field. Here's the next pitch.
That's where it's supposed to drop.
1-1. Runner on first is tripped Hill, 2 outs. Here's the next pitch. Swung on, fouled, 0-2.
Don't read. Drive it that way.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, stayed fair, the throw, and able to hold on to it. Wait a minute. It just went foul there at the last moment. Runners will have to return. The count remains at 1-2. Here's the pitch. Runner taking off over to second. Just safe. Tom Zach with a good throw over there as he was looking to Wells, and it was a good look. Count remains at 2-2. Here's the next pitch. And got him looking for the third and final out. No runs, hits, errors, 1 left on for New Waverly. That, by the way, the first strikeout of the evening for your Bulldogs. New Waverly's got 3 outs for some magic, trailing 8-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Stay with us. Bulldog baseball on SHN continues. All right, the final opportunity for your Bulldogs here tonight, trailing 8-1, bottom of the 7th. And here we go. New Waverly looking for some life here. They'll go 9-1-2, starting with Peyton Rayleigh. First pitch is a ball, and a way to not swing on that one, Peyton. It's 1-0. Rayleigh reached on a walk in the previous inning. Here's the next pitch. Called strike on the corner. As the paintbrush was out, it's 1-1. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Here's the next delivery from Rayleigh. On Rayleigh. To the inside to even us at 2-2. Nobody on. Just underway here in the bottom of the 7th. Now the 2-2. That'll take us to a payoff pitch on a ball. It's 3-2. Here's the payoff. Chopped foul off the third base line. Rolls over to Coach Compton. A lot going on this weekend throughout Walker County. Mentioned the Pineapple Run tomorrow. Farmers Market, Wine Quest tomorrow night. Here's the 3-2. Good eye, Rayleigh. And he'll have another for the second consecutive at-bat, reaching on a walk.
Go, CC.
Take us up to Colin Conover. The shortstop back up at it at the top for New Waverly. Here's the pitch. Called strike. Late called strike, 0-1. Here's the next pitch. Curve to the outside to even us up at a ball and a strike. Jenkins, who was playing at third, pitching for Teal. Here's the next one. And another one over to right as he lined this one out there. Beautiful hit. Was not grabbed. Took a nice hop and a roll, stayed right field, and now runners on 1 and 2 for New Waverly, trying to get a little rally going here in their final opportunity tonight. So a walk and a hit sets New Waverly up here at 1 and 2. Now Daniel Nixon. Nixon 1 for 2, grounded one in the second, singled in the fourth, left stranded at second, hit by a pitch, and he is that lone mark on the board tonight with that one run coming in off the Action Jackson RBI single back in the sixth. Here's the next pitch. It's a swing and a miss to even him up, though, at 1-1. No outs, 1-1 count, bottom of the seventh. New Waverly trails 8-1. Your second run at second, your third run at first, your fourth run at home plate.
Nice stop by the catcher.
Another one, a ball here. Luke Field has been busy tonight behind the plate, having to secure those. Pretty short backstop here at New Waverly. The only way you're going to get a run is if it bounces off and flutters out to the field. Here's a swing and a miss, a hard swing and a miss on a good fastball to even us up at 2-2. Again, runners on 1 and 2 for the Bulldogs. No outs here in the bottom of the seventh, trailing 8-1. 2-2 count to Nixon. Here's the pitch. And he swung around and missed for the first out. And here's Max Tomzak, the catcher for New Waverly. Max, his last two at-bats, both reaching on walks. He struck out swinging for the third out on a 1-2 pitch back in the first. The left-handed batter for New Waverly. Here's the first pitch to him. Hard hit over to left center, and the fielder able to make that grab. Runners will not be able to advance. Blaine De La Serra out there for the second out.
Brings up first baseman Jackson Hawthorne.
And here's Action Jackson.
Good swing. Good swing, Buff.
Boys, got it.
Go, Jackson. Barrel it up, Buff.
First pitch on the way. Hard hit foul, way off the first base side. New Waverly 5-1, tied for second right now with Onalaska here in 23-3A.
2 more, Jack. You got it.
Up next for New Waverly, here's a swing and a miss. Take us to 0-2. Up next for the Bulldogs. On Tuesday at home versus top of the district Anderson Shiro, and then next Friday we'll be on the road at Anderson Shiro. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss, and that'll wrap it up for tonight. A tough one here for New Waverly. They do find one run, but Onalaska, once again, a little too much here for the Bulldogs. They'll have to regroup over the weekend because now it is your league-leading Anderson-Shiro Fighting Owls coming to New Waverly on Tuesday. But hey, still a lot to happen, still a lot of season left as we got this series and then wrapping up the district play versus Trinity on the 21st. New Waverly, we'll see how they respond. Great young men and a great team under head coach Aaron Compton. And we'll see how things roll for them. Hey, we wish you the best as I end every broadcast reminding you tonight that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there tonight needs you. I'll leave you one final time as I wrap it up tonight, honoring my good friend as I dedicated this broadcast to a special person in my life who is no longer with us, now in heaven, Michael Francis. Good night and God bless from New Waverly, Texas. So long, everyone.